Hello everyone and welcome back to Prestige Reef. Now, if you follow me on Instagram or if you are a regular listener to the Prestige Reef Talk show, which is a podcast that Reef Talk and I do every Sunday at 7 o'clock on his channel, then some of this information you will know already because it's been 3 months since I've given you an update on the Waterbox tank. Those people will already know that I hate it. But if you are not one of those people and you've been waiting for an update, this is the day. Now, the first thing you're going to notice is it's empty again. It's like this thing fucking tortures me. Might have to take that bit out. Either way, as I said, I have never had a tank like this before. I run a whole coral farm very successfully. I also obviously do consultations which help people, but this tank has absolutely brought me to my knees. Right, now, those of you that haven't seen my previous video, the first things I had to face was a very serious disease which killed everything in the tank within 48 hours, I think it was at the time. That was the first significant issue I had. So after that, I decided to quarantine every single fish for approximately 30 days with copper, actively treating them one at a time or a couple at a time to make sure that nothing could get through. That was the first thing I did. Then after that, I battled diatoms, which I managed to get rid of. And that was the end of the story for you. After that, I then put the fish back into the tank, having left the tank fallow for a period of time. As I said, I quarantined every fish, started to put them into the tank. Everything was fine without any issues. And then all of a sudden, after blacking the tank out for the diatoms, it must have stressed the fish out because white spot appeared. Now, where the white spot came from, I don't know. I'm human. I basically must have made a mistake with regards to the quarantine. Because obviously the king eye is so expensive, I decided I didn't want to risk it. So what I decided to do was strip the tank down, put them into a quarantine tank upstairs. Originally they were on the floor of my bathroom, which you can see on my Instagram. You could literally, you know, sit in the bath and look at the fish at the same time. It was like being at the Atlantis Hotel, like a budget version of the Atlantis Hotel in Dubai. After that, having taken the fish out, however, there was no food going into the tank. And obviously with the tank being left fallow, I then had a dinoflagellates outbreak from low nutrients, because obviously what was happening was the fish came out, algae started to grow because nothing was eating it, bottomed out the nutrients, I believe, and then dinoflagellates appeared. Dinoflagellates or dinoflagellates, I'm not quite sure. I've heard both sayings. I'm genuinely not sure which is the correct one, but I always call them dinoflagellates. They are not something to be messed with, and I think that they are one of the most common reasons for tanks to be broken down, because they are that ugly brown snot which covers everything. So what I did was I blacked out the tank to reduce it so there's basically nothing left. You can see that obviously everything, the sand's white and everything is all gone. I'm not putting the lights on at the moment, and I've added miracle mud, which supposedly will help with it, and I am currently dosing silicates. Ironically, the silicates are to stimulate a diatom bloom, which obviously is what I had before. Because apparently they will then outcompete it and the system will reach equilibrium and everything will be all good. I will be the happiest person when this tank is sorted, but I have got motivation for it again. The fish have now been in quarantine for 10 weeks. They have been through a full copper dose and everything again. Actually, I did it for 40 days this time to seriously make sure there was no chance, and with regular testing of the copper level to make sure 100% that I wasn't going to get it wrong. And to be fair, there is a fish in there which is very, very prone to white spot, and it hasn't shown any sign of white spot for a period of time. There is a reason I've not shut this tank down and restarted it, and I will show you in a minute, because this tank is absolutely full of life, literally full of it. And that is both the life that you can actually see visually, things like copepods and things like that, as well as, interestingly, with the microscope, when you look at the sand and stuff, there are literally hundreds of little critters running around. And I just think this tank is in the perfect position for, it's a very mature, stable tank now. I just need to make sure I've not got any of those little niggly things, cyano, diatoms, dinoflagellates come back, then I will be happy. Right, now the first thing I'm going to do is show you the new aquascape. It's not that easy to show you because it's quite a lot of reflection, so I might have to get quite close to the tank to be able to show you. But originally I had a pile of rocks here, which was much higher. I then, in the middle, I had what essentially was like a crashed Millennium Falcon, and then I had another pile of rocks. You all hated my aquascape, and to be honest, I didn't really like it either. The reason I did it was because I was making a video, I needed to make a video, and I basically did the aquascape in an hour. With this aquascape, however, because I had already like completely dismantled everything to get the yellow assessor out, so I'd just do a little bit at a time and turn it into something which I want. Right, so starting from this section, I've got a little cave here. The angelfish really like to hang out in sort of overhangs, so, and obviously having the majestic and the king eye, decided to put a few little overhangs and caves in there for it. So this is the first cove. You can see it starts here, goes back, and then sort of slightly increases with regards to the altitude. Not sure why I'm using fancy words. Basically, it goes upwards in a slope, and then it comes around as a curve here. So we've got like sort of an elongated cove. That's the first bit. And then the second bit, I have a slightly smaller cove here, again with some sort of overhangs and bridges, and then a larger cove here for this section, which you can see, look, the clean shrimp love to hang out in. I took on board what you said before when you all sent me messages saying you hate it. But this time I actually really like it, so it doesn't matter. This is obviously my tank, and that's what I say to people all the time. Make your tank the way you want it. So I really quite like it. There's like a little limpet thing here, which originally it was over on that white thing this morning, but it's now moved over. And this is what I mean by the tank is full of life, because even on that little limpet, you can see, look, little creatures running around, and they are literally everywhere. That's an amphipod, and they are literally, if you look around, everywhere I look, there are hundreds of them. If you look on under the rocks, just all roaming around, and that's the reason that I haven't closed this tank down, because the tank is so mature, in the perfect position for fish and corals. As I said, all the parameters are where they should be. I hate it when people say all their parameters are fine, but that's what I'm going to say. All of my parameters are fine. I am a little bit nervous. I don't want to put loads of coral in and start it all up again, only for there to be another problem, because now is the easiest time to deal with any problems when there's nothing in it. So there's like a whole team of them over there. It's actually really interesting to watch them sometimes, because sometimes they have little fights and arguments with each other. Right, now that is the update on this tank at the moment. I'm just sort of this video is sort of more about getting everyone prepared to go, look, we're back at the beginning, but we got motivation, we're excited, and we're gonna get this done. Part of the reason I haven't been showing people or like doing videos is because it is demoralizing being a YouTuber going, look how much I am failing. But even I fail sometimes, and it's as simple as that. You can have as much knowledge, I feel, in this hobby as you want, and to some extent that's great, and you have as much equipment as you want. But the one thing that is a lot more care and attention, which is the least thought about, is like that these are living biological systems, and the biological side is what kicks most experienced reefers' asses, and that includes mine. Right, I'm going to take you upstairs to show you another biological problem which is happening, because despite the fact the quarantine tank has been running and completely fine for, I think, well, for weeks and weeks now, there has been a bacterial bloom in it. So I put a UV sterilizer in there, which is getting rid of it. You can still see they've only got another few days to be in there, and then I can put them in here. I did a big water change. That makes the situation, it temporarily fixes it. So if you have a bacterial bloom, don't think a water change is going to work, because it doesn't. It just gives more space for the bacteria to keep blooming. I'll take you upstairs. I will show you all of my little dirty secrets, because that's what this video is about, apparently. Right, as you can see, there is a slight bacterial bloom in here. Put in a UV sterilizer, which is this, yesterday, and it's cleared up most of it already. The biggest issue with a bacterial bloom is actually the oxygen levels, but I have 3 pumps in there, as well as an air stone, which is keeping things under control. You can see the ammonia alert badge is still showing no ammonia, and the nitrates and phosphates are, although higher than a reef tank, they are not a problem for a fish-only system. Me and these fish have been through a tremendous amount together, and I can't wait to get them back into the water box downstairs, because once they're in, the tangs will control the algae, I can put the coral back in, and all will be right with the world again. The only fish that I don't particularly like in here massively are the clownfish, because I saw a beautiful pair of clownfish at Reef Keeper Moss End, and although they're probably gone now, they made me realise that they were the ones I wanted, whereas these were ones that were sort of given to me and I kind of just put in the water box as first fish to go in there. So I think I should start picking things a bit more carefully, especially when you go through quarantine and everything. The king eye is still doing well, as you can see. The only fish which is a little bit problematic is the jewel tang, which doesn't like to be filmed, as you can see, because it's a little bit thin at the moment. Now I've been increasing the feeding, which is probably what caused the bacterial bloom. It needs to be fed a few times a day to stop it from getting skinny. But I'm working on it. Right now, I'll be completely honest with you. Going through this process has made me not want any more fish ever, basically. I won't be doing sort of minimum. Oh, look, don't get me wrong. I will add more fish to the tank. I don't know when I'm going to add more fish to the tank once these have gone in, but I've got everything I need to keep things, you know, I've got wrasse and tangs and everything I need to keep things under control, I have got. I can't see me going through, like, risking putting new fish in anytime soon. But then again, who knows? What I do know is I will not be quarantining any new fish. That's not a full stop, that's a comma. I will not be quarantining any new fish for 30 days. They will be going in probably for like 30 days with copper, and then, or a bit longer than that with copper. I actually did these for 40 days, I think. Obviously it was a couple of months now ago I did it, which is why I can't remember. I will think I'll be doing, every fish will now have 40 days of copper treatment, as well as an additional 20 days of observation, just to see. It's too much hassle. It's too much hassle and work and heartbreak and frustration when you have to go through all of this. And it's tough on the fish too. I will not be adding any new fish lightly, let's put it that way. And the other thing I'm considering doing is I will probably add fish from the coral farm. So I'm actually selling quite a lot of the fish in the coral farm. Any fish that doesn't really do anything, like a regal tang, for example, which I got a load of fish at the beginning, so I was like, hey, look, I can have loads of fish now because I've got loads of tanks. I have decided that I'm selling them, because if they don't do a job, they're not employees, and if they're not employees, they shouldn't be in my business. Some of them I will move into the water box, because then I know that there's basically no chance of a serious disease getting in, like a serious disease. Because obviously I've had the fish in there for ages and they're all completely fine. That's your update on the water box and the quarantine tank. That is it today, guys. I will give you an update on the coral farm in the next video. As always, I hope you enjoyed watching. Please feel free to comment below if you have any questions. If you did enjoy it, why not click that like and subscribe button. Have a good week, and I'll see you next time.